This is 4th and Goal on Break the Cast.
You're listening to Break the Cast. My name is Jeff Blagden. I am joined by Andrew Reese and Christian Smith for a very special American Thanksgiving episode of 4th and Goal. And that is why we are coming at you on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. So, guys, obviously, some of the big stories last week involve injuries for the most part. A big one was the Flacco injury, which
and Forsett.
The Ravens in general.
Marshawn Lynch, sports hernia, needs surgery.
Marshawn Lynch, likely done for an extended period of time, probably the season. Do you think it's his last game in a Seahawks uniform?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't see him going anywhere.
With Rawls doing what he's been doing, I think they get rid of him.
I see him retiring.
Really?
That too, actually.
He was talking about retiring coming into this season. Now he's, injuries. He's missed a bunch of games this year. Rawls looks good. Marshawn Lynch hasn't particularly looked very Marshawn Lynchy.
Yeah.
So.
Nice adjective.
Well, I was going to go with esque. But I decided to go with E instead.
Yeah. And another injury that is possibly a not career ender, but team ender is Colin Kaepernick as well. We've probably maybe seen him.
You're joking, right?
Well, no, I mean the end of him with the 49ers.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the end of them for the season.
No,
I was like,
no.
they've been.
No, I mean Colin Kaepernick. This could be.
Well, guys,
probably played his
3-7.
49ers.
49ers are officially done.
Okay, now it's over.
Also, Amendola week to week, and they already lost Edelman, so.
Yep.
Patriots are going to struggle to find receivers other than Gronk.
I agree. I actually think they
Brendan
lose this
LaFleur's
week.
back, though. So.
He's been back for a couple weeks.
Yeah, but now,
he hasn't exactly starred since he's been back. He's had a couple games where he's looked decent, but nothing incredible. And then again, when you're playing with Gronk.
Yeah.
And we got to remember, too, you're saying maybe they lose this week. This is still Brady, and he still has his tight ends. Brady loves his tight ends. And
against the Bills, he struggled a little. Gronk, I mean, which...
by Gronk standards.
Full credits to Ronald Darby again. Just had a monster game covering again, as we spoke about defensive rookies.
But you got Gronk and Chandler on either side of that line.
That's scary. That's a very scary.
You got 2 6-7 red zone threats.
Absolutely.
Like I don't think they're going to struggle to get wins.
No, and that was my point. Was he struggled for one game this year, and they're going to be fine.
I think the thing they're going to have to worry about is having those receivers healthy when it comes to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
That's where they're going to have to really worry. The regular season, whatever. You know what? They're in the playoffs. Let's face it. There's no chance they miss the playoffs, right?
Well,
there's a very low chance they lose the AFC.
If they lose 5 in a row and the Bills win 5 in a row, you never know. Actually, we would still finish second because
they would still
Never
win.
mind.
Good job, Proto.
Thanks, man.
Good job. So that, and another thing I want to bring up with Green Bay, they won, but they didn't look particularly impressive. And I'm aware Minnesota is a good team, but and a team that built for them to struggle against. But what do you think as far as, and this is going to be a wild prediction I throw out there, do you think that McCarthy gets fired at the end of the season if they don't make the playoffs?
They'll make the playoffs.
They're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are. You look at
There's
it.
teams that are over 500.
Yeah, but Minnesota's probably winning that division. If you look at their strength of schedules for the rest of the year, I see Minnesota winning that division. And the NFC wildcard hunt is a bunch of, it's just so jumbled right now, and everyone's within so much distance of each other. They can play good for the rest of the year, have other teams play good as well, and still miss out on the playoffs. Right? Aaron Rodgers can't be your whole team.
If Green Bay does not make the playoffs,
it's a hypothetical,
a lot
of course.
More changes than just Mike McCarthy on that team.
But I mean, McCarthy's been a mainstay there for the Rodgers era, and he's just. I mean, it's never come up before, the possibility of his job security at all. But now, I feel like if they don't make the playoffs this season, I think McCarthy's gone.
Yeah, I would think so too. But like I said, there's no way I don't see Green Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah, same.
I can legitimately see them missing the playoffs. You have 2 wild card teams.
And Atlanta's one of them who's been absolutely trashed the last couple weeks.
By the end of the year, you have 2 wild card teams. I don't mean currently sitting in, but you have so many teams
that's the
fighting
biggest
for that
competition
spot.
for the wild card.
I was going to say, yeah.
Seattle could surge.
Yeah.
A lot of people expect them to.
Outside of the 2 teams, Minnesota and Atlanta are in the wild card spot.
Yeah.
The only other team would be Seattle, and they're sitting at 5-5. Green Bay is still a 7-3 team. To me, I don't see.
Yeah, but that's still only 2 games ahead.
But
I'm just saying. I'm just saying
one
to say
more
that it's completely unexpected for them to miss the playoffs. I can easily see them missing the playoffs, right? I still don't think they do. I still think they are a wild card team. I don't think they win that division. But I can see them as getting in with a wild card. But it is a legitimate possibility that they do miss the playoffs after so much hype coming into the season.
Like I said, they went on a bad stretch, which happens to some teams. Their defense is obviously nothing like what it was when they won the championship. But I still think they're fine. We'll see when the playoffs kick around, obviously. But right now, I don't think there's any worry about them not making it, or even the division title is still right there for them. We'll see.
I'd be worried of Rodgers only going 16 for 34.
With that patchwork offensive line, too. Like, let's face it, all 5 of the guys that they had starting week 1 of the year are off. Like, they're on injured reserve or they're hurt. And to put on top of that, they had 2 other starters hurt in preseason before those guys that started week 1. Yep. So they're picking guys off the street to play offensive line right now. Mm-hmm. You're protecting the best quarterback in the game with some guys that were working at Burger King last week.
And as Christian mentioned, 16 for 34 for Rodgers, 212 yards, but 2 touchdowns. Not his best day, but not an awful day for Rodgers.
It's not a very good day in today's NFL.
Eddie Lacy finally decided to show up.
Yeah, after somebody traded him in fantasy football.
For Jonathan Stewart, though, that's a good trade.
Yeah, so I was okay with it.
It was the lifting of the 4th and goal curse.
I can't believe it. I was watching that game, and every time I saw him do a run in my head, I was just saying, no. Like, just please don't do this. Mm-hmm. But James Jones, 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown as well. Very good game again from James.
This is a big game for a lot of receivers this week.
Yeah, but for James Jones, the last couple of weeks have been very quiet considering he started the season absolutely on fire. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he's kind of been
he has to get covered now.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the thing, right?
Saying,
and they're finally finding the ball to Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae Adams starting
taking a lot of touches away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, overall, I think it was a decent game from Green Bay. It's a gutsy win to beat Minnesota.
I feel like watching that game that Minnesota played a better game.
So do I.
Than Green Bay.
I feel I'm more impressed with Minnesota after that game than Green Bay.
I agree completely. Like, Peterson did not have a good game, but Teddy Bridgewater, like the throws he was
that
making
one pass that he made there on that touchdown pass, that was the perfectly spotted football. Yeah. I don't know if in all my years of watching football, I've seen anyone other than Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or Peyton Manning throw past that perfectly.
No, it was like right into the breadbasket.
Perfect speed on the throw, everything. Like when he lobbed it up, I'm like, whoa, that is a slow throw. Like the way it lobbed up, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, that was perfect. The guy just gets to it perfectly, runs it in. So impressed with Bridgewater in that game.
Another game that we had last week was the Indianapolis Colts and the Haas. I did not go with the Haas, and guess who won? Atlanta. Or, Indianapolis.
Not Atlanta.
Not Atlanta. There we go.
The Haas. Yeah, but I mean, that was less to do with the Haas and more to do with the fact that Atlanta are like the Pokemon equivalent of a Magikarp right now. They have no idea what they're doing out there on the football field.
The only thing they know is, hey, Julio Jones is a pretty good receiver. Putting up 160 yards. No touchdown, though.
The Atlanta Falcons use Splash. Every single week.
I don't understand I know we've kind of picked apart Atlanta with the defense not being as good. We've mentioned they do have a good offense, but what's going on over there?
But it hasn't even looked very good the last few weeks. The running game has disappeared.
Well, Devontae Freeman also left the game.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman left this game, but even before that, the prior 3 or 4 games before that, he did not look very good. He hasn't had a touchdown in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that running game has completely disappeared. The passing game still has Julio Jones. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is still a decent quarterback. Beyond those two, though, what do you have? With Freeman gone, White hasn't done anything
White has
this
been
year.
Non-existent for a couple of years now.
Yeah, he should retire.
It was that 1 year where all those injuries got to him, and I don't think he's ever really
recovered.
I don't think he's ever really become the same person that he was. It was, though, a great game played by the Haas.
Oh, yeah. Haas had a decent game.
Yeah, he definitely led that team the way you'd expect a quarterback to, not the way Andrew Luck has been doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? He did what he had to for them to pick up the win, and that's all he needs to do, really, in his backup, quote-unquote, backup role, he did exactly what he had to do as a backup quarterback.
How about your Chiefs showing up again?
Yeah, what is this?
See, as soon as they're not his prediction anymore, they start winning.
They were like, oh, hey. And I'm very scared because the Bills play them this coming week, so here we go.
There's a solid chance that the Chiefs make the playoffs now.
I can't wait till they make the Super Bowl now. I really can't wait.
With no Jamal Charles.
No Jamal. Yeah, and look, Jamal Charles got hurt. Everyone was saying, hey, good job, you cursed him, and now they're winning. So
let me say one thing, too, while we're on the topic of the Chiefs. We all like having those big numbers of Twitter followers pop up. But did you hear Sharkandrick West's comments?
No, I did not.
He said that if he's on your fantasy team, there's no way you shouldn't be following him on Twitter. Because he was saying so many more people have him on his fantasy team and his Twitter numbers are so low.
Well said. Well said. Marketing himself out there. I like it.
There's a way to get yourself followers. Hey guys, if you're listening to the podcast and you're not following us...
But still, the one thing, they won this game 33-3 against San Diego, who's obviously not playing well. Alex Smith did not throw a touchdown pass again. Man threw for 253 yards, but no touchdowns.
20 for 25, though.
Yeah, very good numbers.
Classic Alex Smith, no turnovers.
That's an Alex Smith game right there. That is an Alex Smith game.
I know, it's awesome because, no turnovers at all, but no touchdowns.
What about Rivers? Only 179. Couple weeks in a row now, Rivers has been...
I think he's got to leave San Diego. No questions asked. He is a good quarterback.
Rivers,
he's a great quarterback. He's leading the league in yards until this week.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Philip Rivers is a very good quarterback. Sure, he turns over the ball, but not as much as you would think for a guy who maybe throws the ball as much as him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is almost more than... I think it is actually right now more than anyone else in the league.
And his turnover numbers aren't considerably high for considering how much he throws.
They also don't have a running back.
Exactly. But to me, I think if he leaves San Diego, goes to a team where he could kind of start fresh, I think he would be very...
San Francisco?
I was just thinking that. Maybe San Fran. Maybe that's where Phil...
Not a very far trip.
No, exactly. Just right over there.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting one. Or even...
Kaepernick in San Diego?
I don't know. We'll see what happens with, I was about to say the Patriots, but they still got Brady. What's their name? Denver, that's it. Brock Osweiler. We'll see how he finishes the season. If they need quarterback, why not Philip Rivers?
I have seen for a couple of years Kirk Cousins ending up in Denver. I don't know what it is about that. I just have this thing that says Kirk Cousins is going to be a Denver Broncos starting quarterback.
RG3.
Stop.
Well, I mean, at some point they're going to have to get rid of one of them. And it's a lot easier to get rid of Cousins than it is to get rid of RG3.
Agreed.
But
who do they want?
Yes.
It's not about who they want. It's about who they're going to be capable of getting rid of. RG3 makes more money. Nobody's going to want him because of the injury concerns. And even with all of this, everything that's happened with him, he's still their most marketable player.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's very true. But yeah, other than that game, we saw obviously a very good performance there.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins and RG3, though, how about that 44-16 loss?
Cam Newton, 5 TDs.
Wow, yeah.
Shout out to James Winston as well. He had 5 TDs.
Yeah,
but it went a little bit under the radar because
we'll
Panthers
get to
are 10-0.
Yeah. But Cam Newton, just awesome game. And I loved after every single touchdown, gave the ball to
a child.
Kid in the crowd. Awesome.
I don't know if that was more to actually be charitable or more to just shove it in the face of all the people who said they didn't want to see him celebrate.
Yeah, I'm a good guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, they're amazing. Carolina, I've come on here a couple times and say they're undefeated, but I got nothing else. I think
it's incredible that they've gotten this far as such a good team without, beyond Cam Newton, any really big name players. Right?
Well, Jonathan Stewart he's not a
Jonathan Stewart
player,
he's not a big name player.
Filling in, he's playing very well at running back, giving them that support.
I think we always knew, though, if it wasn't for D'Angelo Williams, that he'd be a great back.
Yeah, if you look at last year, Stewart did this exact same thing around the same time when D'Angelo went out.
His chance and
he does it every year, right? He just it's neutralized by the fact that he has to split carries with D'Angelo Williams every year, right? Now that he doesn't have to do that he's an every down back. He's doing the same thing he's always been doing. He's just doing it all the time now.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say that D'Angelo Williams wasn't, good enough to spot in for that, because he did the same thing.
Not, yeah.
He was still just as good.
And you could just say, look at D'Angelo Williams this year with Pittsburgh. The games that he's had
the same thing.
One bad game, which was against Cleveland, I think it was. Well, they also stopped giving him rush opportunities. But the games that D'Angelo Williams has obviously played for the Steelers this year, he's been very good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same thing for both backs. Now that they're free of the other one, they're able to.
But as Christian mentioned, Jameis Winston, obviously 5 touchdowns and a 45-17 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles.
A rout of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Sanchez, not exactly.
Does Chip Kelly keep his job after
Not
this
being
season?
fantastic. I don't think you can get rid of Chip Kelly. He's the general manager. He's the head coach. He's everything in that organization.
Yeah.
He has the same control as Bill Belichick has over the Patriots. You can't really let a guy like that go.
No, absolutely, which I think is just showing how big a mistake I think that really was by Philadelphia. You know, there was a lot of hype for Chip Kelly obviously coming to the NFL, but I think if you just gave him a head coaching job, I think he would be okay. But the fact that
I think it got to his head.
Exactly, and I think the fact that they gave him all this power has been a giant mistake by Philadelphia. And you could see that, like, the team, they're nothing, really.
He got a lot of names and threw them on a team together, and they haven't really done much.
Their leading rusher this week was Darren Sproles. On a team that has DeMarco Murray, Darren Sproles was your leading rusher.
And Ryan Matthews.
Yeah, with a total of 21 yards. Unbelievable. Like, yeah,
To
Ryan
be fair,
Matthews,
they were down the whole game.
But still, like, just everything. Like, that's awful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, to the Chip Kelly point, too, I mean, when you have a guy who's that good of a coach, and then he gets a little headstrong, and you want him to build a team, and he just goes out and acquires names. He doesn't really have any experience with building a real team. Sure, you can say with college, where he's just recruiting people to come out. But in college, it doesn't matter. You recruit the biggest names, and if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Right? In the NFL, you can't just get a bunch of names and throw them together. They're not going to fit well together.
No.
We saw that, like you mentioned earlier, with James Jones. Anywhere he went that wasn't Green Bay, did not look like a very good receiver.
Yeah, but he had the good chemistry with
Green
Aaron
Bay.
Rodgers and Green Bay.
Green Bay, all of a sudden, he's a Pro Bowler every year.
Yeah.
For as much as
and it's
being
true,
a Pro
and that's
Bowler
what I was gonna
matters.
say. I think it's something we always touch upon is that familiarity and just other things like that.
And
come along with
the Panthers are a great example of it too, working
Yeah.
together so well as a team to the fact that they're 10-0.
Exactly, they're a team, and you could see that.
Just
like,
letting
the way
guys
they
like
work.
Greg Hardy go and Steve Smith.
They
and,
got rid of the negative and let in kind of the positive, the youth, and they're all playing well together. That's why they're 10-0. Like,
it's about chemistry
Absolutely.
at this point. When you have more than 4 years together, it's not just about being great players.
No.
It's about being able to be a great team.
Of course.
The Cowboys getting Romo back, coming away with a win this week.
Yep.
Bad game from Romo, and they still won.
Romo's still undefeated on the season. I think even if Romo had a terrible game, they'd still be winning this game just because of the fact that he's back. Like, it's everyone else on the team is playing up to the fact that we need to do this now. We have no excuses
I
anymore.
think it was just a big boost morally to see Tony
I think
Romo
they
come
can
back.
still win that division, to be honest.
It's not a very good division. I think
We just got to get the Giants to lose a couple, and we're right back in there.
No,
I'm not
and
worried
that's
about
what I mean.
Philly or Washington.
What about Darren McFadden? Monster game for McFadden.
Might be hurt, though.
What else?
It's Darren
Isn't
McFadden.
that
He's
Darren
usually
McFadden?
hurt.
That usually, like, beside Darren McFadden's name in fantasy, even when he's not hurt, they should just put, like, a little star beside it and said, we'll give you good game, but we'll get hurt. Like, just, he will get hurt the game he plays well.
Game.
Yeah,
Just
one game,
game.
exactly.
Not plural.
You don't know
Game.
what week, but you're going to get a good game.
There'll be a good game here somewhere.
But then he's going to get hurt after that game.
Every time he does come in and play, though, he looks like a good back.
Oh, absolutely.
Throughout his entire career, whenever he's been in, he's looked like he could anchor a team, but
He just never stays healthy.
yeah.
He's got 623 yards rushing this year. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
And it's very good. Yeah, like it is good for
Especially
McFadden,
working out
it's
of
good
a
for
split
Dallas.
backfield most of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
To start off the year.
Yeah, no.
Really, it was split three ways even the first chunk of the year.
Yeah,
with
even
Dunbar and
Dunbar,
Randall.
even once Randall was gone, it was still split.
Yeah, with the two of them, and then obviously Dunbar went out for
Dunbar
the
got
season.
hurt.
Yeah.
McFadden
Of
took
course.
the job.
And now McFadden takes over, and he's had, I think, 200-yard games in his last 3.
2 for sure, maybe 3 for 3.
I think he was just short.
Yeah, I think it was.
for-
But I know
2.
definitely 2 of 3. And big games, though.
No, and that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, and it's not like he's been playing mediocre. Like, he's kind of looking like the McFadden that people wanted to see when he was even in Oakland. Like, when he was in Oakland, he had games like this, but it was obviously the health concern.
Well, anyone who saw him play in college knows how good he
Knew
is.
How good he was.
As of right now, he has more yards than he finished with in 2014, 13, 11, and he only has about 80 yards shy of beating 2012.
Very good.
And we're 10
obviously-
games in.
Yeah, and obviously, like we said, it's just that health concern with Darren. But other than that, that offensive line for Dallas, I think, is also really helping him out, obviously, of course.
To be honest, actually, he has more yards this season than any season he's had, except for 2010, where's the only year he went for over 1,000.
Wow.
Mm.
That's crazy. No,
Game
that's
10.
really good.
Yeah.
Good. No, it's hard when you see guys who obviously have injury issues.
But
you
they're
want to see them
Band-Aids.
succeed, yeah. And you want to see them succeed when they come back. Like Carson Palmer, obviously, he had the injury.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't expect him to do what he's doing now. And I think even McFadden going to Dallas and in his first year having an immediate impact, people are like, all right, this is pretty cool. Like, we kind of get to see the best out of this guy now. So, no, good for Darren McFadden.
And that line's
obviously.
been helping him stay healthy, I think,
absolutely.
too.
Oh, well, and I think it's paying dividends that you see. That was a big reason for DeMarco Murray's success, obviously.
Exactly.
Another game that we had during the week was Brock Osweiler coming out and beating Chicago by 2.
Didn't have those 5 touchdowns, though.
No.
However, no interceptions, which is what they need on that offense
And he threw
to keep
for 2.
it rolling.
Yeah, 2
Exactly.
touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 250 yards. A very good
That's
game,
all
actually,
they
from
need, really.
Osweiler.
It's not.
2 TDs and no interceptions.
It's not enough yet to say that he's the starter.
No.
Obviously,
No.
once Peyton's healthy again, at this point, I still see Peyton
But
taking
they
it
did
back.
just announce Manning's out at least another 2 weeks.
And they also said Manning is a free agent. He is going to test free agency this summer.
Which is insane. He should just retire.
He wants to see if anyone wants him.
He should want to retire.
Let's go, Buffalo.
Stop.
Why would
Why
you
would you
want
I
him
don't
there?
want him. I like Tyrod. I was just joking. It's just because the typical Buffalo always needs a quarterback thing.
Right, that would make literally no sense for him to go to Buffalo for either
Manning to
for
be the
either
backup
party.
to Tyrod Taylor.
He should go to
San Francisco.
he should go to New England and back up Tom Brady for a year just to win another
That would be
championship.
disgusting to see Brady and Manning on the same sideline.
That would be ridiculous.
I'd watch it.
I wouldn't.
I'd watch it just to see the sidelines during the game of Peyton sitting there watching Tom Brady.
One player I want to touch on that we've actually, I don't think, mentioned once this whole season, and he deserves it more than anything, is DeAndre Hopkins, the receiver on, obviously, the Houston Texans there. He has over 1,000 yards already at 9 TDs, and he's been doing this with Brian Hoyer and TJ Yates.
And there was a third quarter. I think he's caught a catch from 3 different
Yeah.
quarterbacks this year, which basically, like, Houston's game plan is just throw it to DeAndre
And hopefully Watt makes a stop.
It. Yeah. But the thing is that's the awesome thing with Hopkins this year is he just catches it. It's just like, okay, it's fine.
I just feel like he's been going such under the radar because he is on the Texans, but I mean, this isn't a guy playing with Rodgers putting up 1,000 yards. This is a guy putting up 1,000 yards with TJ Yates and Brian
Yates,
Hoyer.
Exactly, and and only 23 years old, very young receiver. Obviously, staying healthy is the biggest part in football. But imagine this guy on a good team.
I know. With
Sorry,
a quarterback,
Houston,
it would be...
It's funny that this is the Houston Texans we're talking about. Let's go back to 2004, 2005.
Before we do that,
What-
quickly,
Yeah,
Houston also beat the Jets in this game.
it's true.
They're right back in that division.
Yeah.
The way that you worded that with him going under the radar playing for Houston, let's go back to 2004, 2005. Probably say the same thing about another guy
Andre
who ended up in Houston
Johnson.
for so long.
Andre Johnson.
Yeah, no, we know it's Andre Johnson.
Well, for the people listening, they might know. They might not know.
But, I mean, it's the same factor, really. They're in Houston. They're going under the radar for a lot of years. Nobody really mentioned Andre Johnson among the best in the league, right? But he's been neck and neck. If you look at someone like Larry Fitzgerald, he's been neck and neck statistically throughout his entire career. The only thing, Fitz really, distinguishes himself is in touchdowns. But if you look at yards, receptions, yards per
he's always
catch,
up-
all
he
that
was
stuff,
always up
he's
there.
right there, almost literally matching Larry Fitzgerald's career
and
stats.
top-
And everyone knows Larry Fitzgerald's a Hall of Famer when he's done. Everyone says it every time he plays a game.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. You don't hear it as often about Andre Johnson.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he, like you said, he has almost the same numbers as some of the best receivers to play in this era. But because of the demographic of where he played and how poor those teams have been, he doesn't.
And
get
lack of
recognition.
playoff performances, I feel,
Of
hurts him
course,
as
yeah.
well. You can't see if he can do it in the big games. We just see that he's doing it on crappy teams over and over, right?
Yeah.
So our advice is DeAndre, get out of there while you're young.
Yeah, just
Go-
No,
go
he's
somewhere.
impressed me though. I mean,
Oh, no,
for us
he's
to
a
not even
monster.
mention him in what is this week 11 now? I honestly don't. I can't remember us.
the only time I can
mentioning him
think that we
once.
mentioned him was a few weeks ago when we were talking about the receiving statistics.
Yeah.
We were talking about the leaders in the
Yeah,
receiving
we kind of
stats.
were just like, hey,
And,
Hopkins.
and
there,
even
we
then,
just
he
skipped
was
him.
probably leading or top 2.
Yeah,
and we
we
just
were like-
said his name and
We were
went
like,
on.
hey, DeAndre Hopkins there. Hey, but Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to throw a quick shout out to him though, because he is
No,
impressing me
good
week
call,
after
yeah.
week. I've been trying to trade for him in fantasy. It is not working out very
Yeah.
well.
I remember a quick little fantasy story. During the draft, I was one pick away from taking
So
him,
was I.
and I would have had Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins.
I was one away, and then
So
I had to
one
go
pick away.
with Cobb, I believe.
Mm.
Which has
Cobb-
been
Cobb is-
exactly.
yeah. It's like
That's all
it's
I
not a
can
bad
say about
pick,
it too.
but,
Is
All
all
right.
right.
so should we get in these game picks or any other games you guys want to
There
recap?
was one other game I was looking
The
at.
Bills lost, man.
It wasn't the Bills game because they lost. The refs sucked in that game for
Yeah.
both
How about-
teams.
Terrible.
Both teams.
Terrible.
Awful.
How-
Again on a Monday
Just
night.
How about our actual game of the week pick?
I was supposed
Oh,
to
yeah,
say
Cincinnati and
Arizona.
Arizona.
That was the game I was actually going to get to before I was rudely interrupted over here, thinking I'm going to talk about the Bills. I don't care they lost.
That was an incredibly fun game to watch. The Cardinals-Bengals game.
Congrats to Arizona.
I
for
mean,
handing Cincinnati
we all
the
know
second
we
one.
all know I'm a Cardinals fan.
We all
but
called it though.
yeah, I mean, we all know I'm a Cardinals fan. But just speaking unbiasedly as a football fan, a
Very
joy
good
to watch this
Very
game.
good game.
It was two fun teams to watch. Great defense versus great offense, and the big thing, obviously, Peterson, his injury. We don't know yet exactly what's happening there. That would be huge for the Cardinals because he has been locked down this year, especially compared to what he was last year.
Can I say I'm very happy I started Giovanni Bernard in this game? He had a very good game again for receiving wise.
I told you
had
he'd get the
mentioned-
receiving numbers.
How
And
about
you had
J.J.
mentioned
Nelson
that.
on the Cardinals?
Yeah, very good.
J.J. Nelson is one of the fastest football players I've ever seen in my life.
Now, and my point with Gio Bernard, I was going to ask you, Jeff. Like, obviously, you watch the Cardinals
Mm-hmm.
religiously. Are you ever concerned about that they have a hard time with
The
kind of
screen
stopping
passes?
The screen passes.
I've been concerned about it from week one. I've been concerned about it since the New Orleans Saints put up 220 yards to their running backs on us
Yeah.
on
That is
screenplays.
true. We had about a 5-minute segment on that.
That's right. Yeah. No, and that's what I mean.
I've always
like,
been concerned about it. The problem is we don't start any linebackers.
Yeah, and I was going to say
Right.
the fact that teams, it seems they know when they go against Arizona, hey, we're just going to do screen.
We start
passes.
Minter at linebacker. Okafor starts every now and then, but he's a pass rusher. He's not really,
No.
a run-stopping linebacker. Marcus Golden, same thing. He rushes the line. He doesn't really stop the run. And then our other linebacker is a safety, and that's Deion Buchanan. He's playing linebacker, but in reality, he's a safety,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So you don't really have anybody out there that is there to stop those screenplays from happening before they get past, the line of scrimmage. And once a screenplay gets past the line of scrimmage, it's usually going to go for at least 10 yards,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very hard thing for the defensive style that they play to defend it, but it's risks and rewards, right? The way they play defense, they're going to have some risks to those running backs. They're going to have some risks to the tight ends, but as far as the receivers down the sidelines and big plays, it's not going to happen against that defense,
Yeah, of course.
right? So
At least, yeah, you're not giving up those kind of 40, 50-yard
Yeah.
bombs down the field, but obviously concerning when teams could pick up 10-yard plays off screen passes every other play kind of thing.
when you're playing as aggressive a style as defense as Belcher
course,
has been
of
this
course.
year, that's what you have to do.
Quickly, another game I want to mention before we probably move on to next week was the Detroit Lions winning a game against Oakland. Obviously not the greatest game, but the Lions picking up another victory
2 in a
after
row.
firing, kind of cleaning house over there. Not bad from
We
the
talked
Lions.
about how inexplicable it was last week that they were as bad as they were with the talent that they have on that team.
Yeah.
And we're finally starting to see it a little bit. Again, too, we'd be looking at even better if it wasn't for, Calvin Johnson not catching a onside kick.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they haven't been among my worst teams in the league this year when I've been thinking about it. Like the teams I'll go over in my head,
49ers.
despite the fact that they've had one of the worst records, obviously the whole year, they've never really come to my mind as the worst team in football.
Same
And
here.
that's because of all the talent that they have on that
Exactly, like,
roster.
and I agree completely with that. Like during our draft for our league that I was in, a lot of Lions players got picked up because they do have a lot of talent. And when you kind of saw them losing, it was like, but what? Like how kind of thing with all these players.
But I think you've always been able to feel like that there's a chance that they could turn it around.
Of course.
Right? So, and that's what I'm getting at again.
They're winning a couple games now, and good on them.
Of course, this week going up against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I actually think they win again.
I think they win too. The Eagles are floundering. They've got Sanchez.
Bradford actually passed concussion test. He may get the start tomorrow.
He passed concussion test, but he also hurt his shoulder.
So I doubt
the fact that
we're
it's a
gonna
Thursday
see
game, I
Sanchez.
don't see him
playing.
playing.
If it was Sunday, maybe, but I think because it is a Thursday, obviously special American Thanksgiving Thursday games.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're playing the paper man. So
yeah. So who do you guys have for that game?
Detroit.
Me too. Yeah. So we're all. I think that's first this year. We're all picking Detroit.
Maybe for Detroit.
Yeah, maybe for the. I was about to say the Red Wings. My God, I'm losing my mind today. The Lions. There we go. Up next, we got the Carolina Panthers against the Dallas Cowboys. The 4:30 game.
Panthers
take their first loss.
Oh, he's going with
Tony Romo's 2-0 against teams that have started 9-0, beating the 0-3 Colts and I believe the 0-9 Saints. But both those teams that he beat won the Super Bowl that year.
But he's going up against a 10-0 team, not a 9-0. So I'm picking Carolina.
I'm sticking with the Cowboys.
No, I got nothing wrong.
I actually think both undefeated teams lose this week.
And then up next we have the Chicago Bears against Green Bay Packers. Obviously, big rivalry game there. I'm picking Green Bay.
Yeah, look, Green Bay to keep it rolling.
I'm taking Chicago.
I knew by the look on Jeff's face he was picking Chicago. Please tell me why.
I do not trust this Green Bay offensive line enough right now. The Bears run a scheme where they blitz the passer a lot. Rodgers is going to be under a lot of pressure. He doesn't have Nelson to get the ball downfield to. Randall Cobb is going to be his biggest option, but he's going to be covered by everybody on that Bears team. He has no tight end to throw the ball to check down to. His receivers can't catch.
I'm actually picking Cobb to have a good game in this one, in all honesty.
If they're going to win, then he's going to have a good game. There's no other way that they win this game.
You still have Adams
Unless
and Jones.
The only way I see the Packers winning this game is if Eddie Lacy has a 2013 Eddie Lacy game. Otherwise, I don't see it happening.
My heart cannot take watching that, okay? Unless Jonathan Stewart puts up good numbers again, I'm okay with it.
Well, your heart isn't the number one thing in my mind making my picks, all right?
How?
Bears.
All right, fine. Be that way. Up next, we have my beautiful Buffalo Bills and their 5-5 record against Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you guys got?
KC.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs too. Chiefs are on a roll right now.
Tough because we don't know if Tyrod's going to play. Got hurt against New England, obviously. Mario Williams may be out for the game as well. But I'm gonna, if Tyrod plays, I'm taking them for this one.
And next up, we got the Rams at the Bengals.
Yeah, Rams, Bengals. I got to take the Rams just because the Rams suck against bad teams and they're great against good teams.
No way since he's losing.
It's crazy. I actually have the Rams too.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams just because
cause havoc for.
I don't see Cincy losing like consecutively in a row.
They've lost 2 in a row.
That's what I mean. I don't see them going 3 in a row.
That's not what you said.
Sorry, I said consecutively, but I meant 3 in a row. I'm gonna take Cincy in this one.
Raiders, Titans.
Raiders.
Who's the real winner here?
The Raiders are a solid team.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock on the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this one. Amari Cooper, I think, has a big game.
Shoutouts to Derek Carr for almost losing me fantasy last week. But I'm going with the Raiders in this one as well.
Then we got Giants at Washington.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Giants.
I got Washington.
Kirk Cousins syndrome.
Little Cowboys help.
He just wants Washington to win.
Yeah, the key word here was Cowboys.
And then we got the 7-3 Vikings at the Falcons.
Vikings huge.
Yeah, I got Vikings too. I think AP puts up about 200.
Yeah, they're going to crush them.
I hate to say it.
Especially because he had a quiet game this week against the Packers. I look for him to do big things.
I hate to say it as well, but Minnesota. Because I really do want to see Atlanta do well, but...
I want to see them not make the playoffs now.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious.
All right. I'm picking Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Saints-Texans.
Ugh. Who cares?
There's a winning game right there.
A team that doesn't have Rob Ryan will win. New England. Or New England. God damn. Listen, I'm very tired.
New England's going to come in and beat both teams at the same time.
I had a very hard time sleeping
New England?
last night.
Okay, hold on. New England versus a combined team of the best players on the Saints and the best players on the Texans.
So like
Who
Drew
wins?
Brees and
Ooh,
JJ
Brees
Watt
with DeAndre
and
Hopkins would be disgusting, though.
But that's the game and JJ Watt.
Yeah,
That's
which
about
is
it. Against New England. Okay, but anyway,
It'd be
New
close.
Orleans. I'm taking New Orleans. That's who's playing in this game.
Mm.
No,
I got the Texans.
I'm changing that. I'm taking Texans as well.
Yeah, we got the Texans just because they're at home, and
Good choice.
the Saints' defense is
If
garbage.
DeAndre Hopkins is putting up as many yards as he is against every team that he plays,
He's putting
he'll-
up 3,000 yards in
he'll
that
do it
game
this
tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I
Or
agree. I'm taking
Sunday,
Houston
sorry.
Sunday. We're all a little tired right now.
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans too.
Yeah.
And then we got the Bucks at the Colts, the Haas.
Bucks and Colts, eh?
I'm going Haas because Winston had such a big game last week. I don't see him doing that back-to-back.
I'm taking Tampa Bay in this one.
Hashtag the host. I'm
And
going
of
with the
course,
Colts.
You're all going with the Haas. I'm taking Tampa in this
I
one.
told you, every game he starts, I'm automatically taking.
Yeah. Until he loses one, I'm going with the Haas every game.
Fair point. Fair point.
Dolphins, Jets.
Jets bounce back,
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets in this one, unfortunately.
and they need to win that game to keep pace the playoff race.
Exactly why I said unfortunately. But yeah, I'm going to take the Jets on this one.
I'm going to take the Jets too.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers at the Jags.
Who's the real winner here in this
I got the
one?
Jaguars.
Yeah, easy.
My boy
Jaguars.
Allen Robinson, who I get tomorrow, is going to put up a huge game.
And Hearns. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking the Jaguars
I got
too.
Allen.
I don't see the San Diego defense being able to stop them
Bortles.
at all.
Blake Bortles.
So, yeah. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, though.
Oh yeah, I'm with you guys on this one, Jacksonville.
It's going to maybe not a lot of points. There's going to be a lot of yards.
Yeah, that's true.
There's-
A lot of open play.
yeah.
Cardinals at 49ers.
49
Cardinals.
No, Cardinals, obviously.
I'm going to go with the 49ers and no, Cardinals.
Unless Gabbert steps up
Yeah.
and takes on the Cardinals defense.
The-
No, easy one.
The real question is how many pick sixes do we see in this game after last time? It's not Kaepernick anymore. But.
7.
They're
Well,
just
keep in mind Patrick Peterson might not play, so probably 5.
Okay.
Yeah, tone it down a little there.
Steelers at Seahawks. Good 4:30 game.
That's a very good 4:30 game. I wish that was the night game, in all honesty.
What do you mean? The night game's great. Patriots at Broncos.
It is a
Yeah.
good game, but I don't know. I like this game a lot. Like for a 4:30 time slot, kind of in the middle. I'm going Pittsburgh. If Big Ben is
Yeah, I'm going
expected to play,
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Big
so I'm
Ben's
going to
play.
take Pittsburgh.
I would love to be able to say that Pittsburgh is winning this, but I got to go with Seahawks on this one. They're at home. You know, they're coming off a big win following a big loss that was the most important game of their season, and I don't see this Seahawks team losing a game right now.
For me, Steelers coming off the bye week, I always think that is a big thing.
But they are going to Seattle.
Yeah, but as much I need Seattle to win this game, obviously, as a Bills fan for the wild card race, of course. But I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one.
Me too. Patriots at the Broncos, the Sunday nighter. Like I already said, I think Patriots take their first loss. Broncos, they have no receivers to throw to now. Gronk's going to be covered by everyone and their grandma on that defense.
Screen passes.
I said it a couple weeks ago that if the Patriots beat the Giants, that they were going undefeated. And I still say they're going undefeated. But my real question here is over under 7 shots of Peyton Manning on the sidelines.
Is he even going to be on the sideline?
It's in Denver, so he'll be there.
What's your over-under there?
Over 7.
You said 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, over for sure.
They're going to show him at least 10 times a quarter.
How many zooms in right on his forehead?
As long as his eyes are in the shot, that's the only way they'll do it.
He'll be standing there eating Papa John's
But
on the
anyway,
sideline.
so you're picking Denver, Christian.
Yeah.
Who you got, Jeff?
Patriots.
I got Patriots as well on this one.
Ravens at the Browns. Great Monday nighter.
Wow, champs. Before
Again,
we
the
pick-
NFL scheduling
before
strikes
we
again.
pick this
We're not
one-
talking about him. He's in my doghouse, if that's where you're going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going there,
Don't.
but we'll get to that after.
Yeah, I'm ripping him a new one.
I really want to see Baltimore.
Mr. Football.
I don't even know who. I want no one to win this game. That's how bad this is.
Just a tie.
I really just
On
want to
Monday
see a
Night Football.
tie.
I'm going.
I'm going Ravens.
I'm
I
going to go
want
Browns.
to, but no Forsett, no
Who's
Flacco.
their quarterback?
Who's Webb? No.
I have no idea.
No, Webb's the
Okay,
third string on Carolina.
I'm going Cleveland.
I have absolutely, and I will never admit that I don't know something about sports. I have absolutely no idea who is starting for.
I'm actually going with
this game.
Jeff. I'm calling a tie. 0-0 game.
Both quarterbacks are just Johnny
gonna say-
Manziel stumbles out drunk.
I'm gonna say in overtime. A
2-0
minute,
safety.
a minute 20 left in the overtime
Guy goes out
period.
of bounds in his own end zone.
A minute 20 left in the overtime period. Josh McCown throws a 48-yard bomb that brings them into field goal range, and they kick a winning field goal 3-0 in overtime.
I'm
Cleveland.
I'm taking Cleveland in this one.
3-0 too.
No, not a 3-0 game. It will probably be like 10-6, like that Cincinnati and Houston game we had.
All
But
right.
I'm taking Cleveland.
Let's get into fantasy a little bit here. We've already talked a little bit on it. We know this is Proto's favorite segment because he'd just sit everybody if he could. So, who are your fantasy starts of the week?
Everyone. Okay. I had it here. I gotta find it now.
Look how
Calvin
unprepared
Johnson.
he is.
Calvin Johnson is my start of the week.
Calvin Johnson.
Well, you
That's
know,
pretty cop-out.
Yeah, like,
it is a cop-out one, but I'm picking like old school Calvin Johnson game against Philly. I think he's gonna rip them apart.
I'm picking one of the best receivers in the league as my fantasy
Well,
start.
okay, but I mean, in fantasy terms this year, he hasn't been the greatest, has he?
Of all time,
No, not
Muhammad
really.
Ali.
Not okay.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay, Christian, what's your start?
Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins playing that Giants defense.
I contemplated putting Kirk Cousins as my starter, but I'm going with the Cardinals defense because San Fran last
fair
time.
enough. I love that pick.
I have the Cardinals defense. They got me 36 points the last time they played San Fran, so I'm going with the Cardinals D. Sits.
I was gonna say another start for me. I already said earlier. I think Randall Cobb will have a good game against the Bears.
Another cop-out, number one receiver. Is your
All
start.
right, you know what? Like he's been struggling again this year. I'm calling it a breakout game.
All right, who are our sits of the week?
Nice.
Mine's actually Panthers D. I think Romo and them are going to put up some points on them.
Okay. Mine's going to be LaShawn McCoy from the Bills. I think he's going to get a lot of touches, but it's not going to accumulate to a lot of points. He's been playing very well lately, but he's up against Kansas City this week.
My fantasy sit's going to be Tannehill this week.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to look good at all.
Cop out. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Cop out. You're
just needed
sitting. You're
to
sitting
know
one
that
of the
so-
highest
What about
ranked
the Jets,
quarterbacks
right?
in the league. Yeah, against the Jets. Team.
Revis might be out.
Still,
But even still,
Antonio
yeah.
Cromartie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like that front seven.
Yeah.
There's not enough to say about the Jets defense. I don't think Tannehill is a good game at all.
Updated top fives quick.
Team-wise?
Yep.
Carolina, no order again. Carolina, New England.
No order?
no,
What is
okay,
wrong
you
with
want
you?
them in-
Yes, we
I
want
was
them in
skipping
order. That's the
five.
point
Alright.
in this segment.
I'm going to go Carolina number 1 right now.
Me too.
New England number 2. Arizona 3. Denver 4. My number 5. I'm going to put Green Bay back up there for the victory over Minnesota.
My 4 is the same. I have Panthers 1 because of the injuries that the Pats are dealing with receiver-wise. That's the only reason, or I would have Pats number 1 still.
The
Pats 2, Cards 3, Broncos 4, and I still have the Bengals at 5 even after the 2 losses.
The Pats against an aggressive defense struggled.
But Minnesota's
On Monday.
catching up to the Bengals for my 5th
Oh, yeah,
spot.
Bengals
I'd like
number
to
5.
point that out.
For me, and I said it last week, sorry, Jeff, before you do your picks, I had Minnesota as my, I believe, number 5 last week, and I said it was because of the streak they were on. And I said if Green Bay bounced back against them, they would be my top 5 again. So.
And then you just change it to the Bengals as your number 5.
No, I didn't. I said you have the Bengals.
Okay.
I was asking you, you
Yeah,
have Bengals,
Bengals,
at 5.
yeah.
No, I said Green Bay is my number 5.
Until the Patriots lose a game, they're going to be my number 1.
Fair.
They're the champion.
That's fine.
They're the
Yeah, no,
champions.
I don't argue with
They
that.
haven't lost a game since. They're still there as long as Tom Brady's healthy.
Mm.
Patriots number 1, Cards 2, Panthers 3. I think those two go up against each other in a game. I think the Cards come out with a win. They're too deep all around. They're among the best in the league at pretty much any position if you look at it individually. Bengals 4 and Vikings 5. Even with the loss to Green Bay, they have more.
I agree. I think they look better in
I
that
mean,
game.
when
than
you get
Green
when you
Bay.
get to this point in the season, I think you're looking at who's going to win a playoff game,
Yeah.
and I think Minnesota has a better chance at winning a playoff game right now than Green Bay if they don't get that offensive line healthy. All right, guys, the biggest segment on our show, the Doghouse.
Right away, me and Christian, I think, have the same one.
Yeah, let me talk to you for a minute here, Mr. Money Manziel. You are an NFL football player. You get paid millions of dollars. You do one job. You went to rehab in April for drinking. You are going to look directly in a cell phone camera with a bottle of champagne, screaming and laughing. You, my friend, are an idiot. You deserve to be third-string QB. You actually deserve just to be kicked out of the league for the stupidity that you have done this year. I hope no team takes a risk on you, and if the Cowboys do end up taking that risk, I'm saying it right now, I will stop liking the Cowboys. I'm all with them taking risks on good players, but he hasn't showed us anything where you're going to take this risk. Manziel, you're in my doghouse, and you're staying there. I'm locking you up, throwing away the key. I'm actually so angry after we just stuck up for him a week before saying that he should get the starter's job, then gets the starter's job. You have 1 week to prepare to be the starter going forward, and you go drink.
Yep.
You're an idiot.
My big thing for that was we had spoken last week about players getting help and receiving help and wanting help. And it seemed like he was changing. And, I think he got the hopes of, especially obviously the Cleveland fans, and I think even NFL fans who just wanted to see him play football.
All I see out of this is he went to rehab because he was forced to, and he doesn't want to do it.
And because he just wanted to do it to be a football
100%.
player. He'd rather be a partier than
That's what it
player.
is.
I agree completely, and I'm with Christian on this one.
When you're a millionaire and you see people filming you, tell them no. Like, he looked directly in the camera, bottles out, waving his hands, screaming, having a great time.
It's funny, my dad had seen the clip with me on TV, and he said, does this guy, not think that when you go out, there's always going to be a camera on you? Like, you're not going to be able to hide. Like, there was the one of Gronk when he went out with his hurt arm and he fell on stage, and he just owned up to it, and he said, yeah, my bad, I shouldn't have. And they're like, all right, cool. Like, at least he owned up to it.
We expect it from Gronk.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they were like, at least, you produce on the field and you're going to do whatever. So it was kind of like, and he, like I said, he owned up to it, and he said, I shouldn't have done what I did. Sorry.
My doghouse this week is the big one. The guy who we really should have put in there week 1, just because of who he is, Roger Goodell. Because how have you not investigated Greg Williams and the Rams again at this point? With all of the injuries they force, quarterbacks that go out, we know Greg Williams has the history with the Saints, right? And then you got him thrown in there with Jeff Fisher, who has that aggressive play style, who could very well be a guy facilitating this and saying to do this, right? He could be a guy completely on board with this, even more so than you would ever suspect Sean Payton to be, right? Jeff Fisher, Greg Williams together, that was a terrible combination for every player in the NFL that doesn't play for the Rams the second it happened. And Goodell, you've sat here, you've watched them injure countless quarterback, countless other positions, one after the other, big name players, big money players, and you have yet to investigate them. But you're going to investigate, Deflategate for weeks. Well, you're going to have months. You're going to have a lawsuit filed against Tom Brady for destroying a cell phone.
You're going to make it a big deal for a guy to represent his dead father wearing stuff on his face.
Yeah, but
he picks and chooses the worst things.
Killing guys.
And everyone knows it. Everybody knows what the Rams are. Everybody that knows football hears, we're playing the Rams? Crud. Why don't we start our second-string quarterback?
We mentioned that every week. Our thing is always, who are they going to get this week? Every time the Rams play, we know somebody's coming out of that game hurt on offense. And it's usually a good player.
I honestly think there's only been one game where someone didn't get hurt playing them this year.
Yeah, and I think we even mentioned that we're like, wow, they survived kind of thing.
Cardinals, Carson Palmer, he got out. He got out
and
of it.
The Bears, I think, were safe.
No, didn't they hurt Cutler?
Did they?
I think that's when Clausen started playing, wasn't it?
So another quarterback.
Yeah.
And now obviously Joe Flacco is done for the season.
Forsett, broken arm.
Forsett's done too.
I think
took out their two best players.
You've got, I think at this point, even if there's nothing going on, I don't know. There could very well be nothing happening, and this is just coincidence that it's always the Rams. But it's not something that you leave to chance like that, especially when the NFL is trying to take this big stance on making sure long-term players don't get hurt, don't suffer long-term damage from playing in the NFL, right? And you're just letting this go.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? If you heard about the kind of the petition against Ray Lewis that's come up recently?
Regarding?
So obviously we know he's working on ESPN right now, right? And every game that he has worked, that the Patriots have worked, he has basically talked Bill Belichick. He hates New England. He's made it known.
Most
obviously,
people
as
do.
a player in Baltimore, he made that known. And he kind of went on, and apparently before the game Monday, he had asked to meet with the Bills players and gave them a motivational talk. Like, this is all reported right now, obviously. And I don't know, what do you think? There's been a petition that people want him kicked off ESPN. Like, they don't want him covering football at all just because of kind of his biased nature.
I mean,
Then
everybody
kick
knows.
Every player off.
Yeah.
Analyst.
No, I agree.
What about
because,
Michael Irving? I mean, I'm a
absolutely.
Cowboys fan, but the guy that clearly doesn't know what he's talking about
No,
unless
he
he's
just
talking
picks
about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have so much history with the rivalry they had. I'm not opposed to it at all.
I think that
he
would
should
bring
keep his
in
job.
people to listen
yeah,
to it more.
exactly.
No,
It's the
and
reason
I
that he's
agree
there, to be
completely.
honest.
Yeah, no, and I agree with it too. Like, I have nothing. I love Ray Lewis, in all honesty. Like, just talking because you kind of get that insight to the game as much as he could be biased. But no, I agree.
All right, last segment. Let's close it out this week. We got Christian currently leading 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
Christian up 5-3.
Something like that.
Our question this week for you guys. Last week, Dontari Poe became the biggest man to score an NFL touchdown at 346 pounds. The record holder before them was William Refrigerator Perry. How much did he weigh?
What did you say, Poe War? Or weight,
346.
And he became the
346.
biggest thing.
He became the biggest.
Refrigerator? Okay.
324.
342.
324.
324, 342.
Yep. Gotta do some math.
Proto wins.
Yeah!
335
Ooh, that was close.
is how much he weighed when he scored that
I
touchdown.
would just by that much.
Yeah, 7-11. You were 11 off. You were 7 off.
Nice.
So, Proto coming back
Yay.
again, 5-4 now.
And one of his wins was a team-related
All right,
question.
he's
So
just
It's true.
Not gonna
One of them might have been a little biased,
Listen,
but
I couldn't escape me picking Kansas to win the Super Bowl, but then this.
we gotta let you guys go now. So remember. So thank you for listening.
happy
To
Thanksgiving,
the fourth
American
goal. Yeah.
listeners.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Hopefully it'll be happy for all of us watching these games. So thank you for listening to the Fourth and Goal podcast. Remember, until next week, when it comes to fourth and goal, always go for it.
Thank you for listening to Break the Cast.